I was one step closer. After submitting my video interview, I was called for the final rounds of interviews to become a consultant at PwC. The final round was simple: nail a group case interview and a one-on-one with a partner. And I had one goal: getting the offer.
I knew that to get it, I had to first make the best possible impression during the group case interview. If I did this right, I would sign an offer before even graduating and remove a considerable stress burden off of my shoulders. If I didn't get it, I knew I had to go back to square one, applying to jobs and start the process all over again and risk graduating without a job.
I didn't want to. No, it was more than that. Failure was not even an option at this stage. The problem was, I never did a group case interview before, and I had no idea what to expect or how to perform well. I knew I needed help.
The first thing I did was go to a friend who was already at PwC. So if you watched my video on how I got my job at PwC, then you know it's her. Let's call her Jessica for this video. So Jessica was already a consultant at PwC and she had gone through the same process a year before I did. So I asked her for group case interview tips, and to my surprise, it was nothing like I had imagined. I had the misconception that we needed to solve a complex case in teams, debate over a solution, then do a huge presentation in front of people. It was nothing like that. Jessica reminded me that the goal of a group case interview is not to see how well you solve a case, but how well you behave in a team setting. Basically, PwC wanted to assess your teamwork skills. And I was amazed. Why make a whole process just to assess teamwork when there are many other skills that a consultant needed to succeed? But she reminded me, being a consultant meant having projects to deliver within specific deadlines with colleagues and clients you never met before. So your teamwork skills will be crucial to succeed in these settings. PwC could train your hard skills, your analytical skills, or even your presentation skills, but not your attitude with others. And that's why they came up with the group case interview to test your attitude in teams. Basically, she said, you will have an hour to solve a case in teams of 6. At the start, you will receive a booklet with the case situation and then a separate sheet of paper with a plausible solution to the case. And that was my proof PwC didn't care about your answer. They gave you a sheet with the answer already in it. Each member will have the same booklet situation, but not the same solution. And your goal will be to discuss different solutions and choose one at the end. That was a lot of information to digest, but I was grateful I had a friend inside who could prep me like this. There wasn't much you can prepare in advance. You will know nothing about the case anyway, so you only had to be ready mentally and learn how to behave in teams. So a couple of days went by and it was finally time for me to go to the interview. Just like Jessica had warned me, we were a total of 6 people, all seated at an oval table with 3 HR people around it. Not gonna lie, it felt like I was at that tuning exam in Naruto with ninjas around looking at us. One of the HR ladies explained the group case interview just before we got started. She said we will have 15 minutes to read the booklet with the case situation, 15 minutes to discuss the situation, 10 minutes to read our sheet of paper with individual solutions in it, and 15 minutes to discuss the solutions we had, and finally 5 minutes to give our final answer. And just like that, the interview started. Situations will change year over year, but mine was an e-commerce in Brazil struggling to sell more of their products, and we had to give them recommendations on how they could increase their sales. When the first 15 minutes were up and it was time to discuss the situation, I was faced with 2 options: be the leader or a good team member. Did I want to lead the conversation and ask questions, or just simply participate and contribute to ideas? Well, I didn't get the chance to make the decision because the guy sitting at the other side of the table took the lead and started talking right away. I guess I will be the good team member then, I told myself. It really felt like he was too pushy to show off that he was the leader, and here lies my first tip for you guys. Decide whether you want to lead or not, but if you decide to lead, don't push too hard or it'll be obvious. So I tried being a good team member. I answered the leader's questions and let other people talk. The conversation was fluid, not a lot of silences, and my teammates behaved very well, so I was confident. And this brings me to tip number 2. Try to balance the conversation so that everyone speaks roughly the same number of minutes. But you need to follow one rule: never interrupt someone or it's game over. you shouldn't do that in a team setting. So I was confident with the answers I provided. How I was interacting with others, it felt like a university group project, nothing too complicated. But quickly, it was time to read our separate sheet of paper with individual solutions and then present them. Everyone had a different solution, so we had to present it concisely. Every one of us gave our opinion about how to increase sales. Some people said we should run ads. Some others said we analyze the competition and see what's working for them. It was pretty interesting, to be honest. My solution was to create those, those loyalty cards that encourage people to come back more often. Those loyalty cards you have at Starbucks, Second Cup, and other coffee shops and restaurants. So here's my tip for this part of the project. You need to know how to summarize lots of information into a small presentation. And this is tip number 3. Don't ramble. Go straight to the solution. Here's the formula I used. What is the solution? Why is it a good solution, and what are the few first steps to get started? That's it. But as I was presenting my solution, I noticed the guy sitting right in front of me didn't talk much. So I took advantage of a downtime in the conversation to say, "Hey Mark, you didn't tell us much about your solution. What do you think is best, running ads or analyze the competition?" And as soon as I said that, I glanced at the HR lady and she was like, and this is tip number 4, guys, and I think it's my favorite one. In a large group setting, just like during a group case interview, there will always be someone who is shyer than others and who will not speak that much. Making them participate by talking to them directly is the easiest way to win points because a good team member or leader values everyone's opinion. And finally, we had to choose what final solution we needed to give the HR out of those 6 ideas. In this scenario, you need to know how to manage bad ideas or inadequate solutions. Here's my final tip, number 5, to do that: don't criticize. Ask questions and suggest ideas on top of theirs for them to realize that maybe their solution is not the best one. Now, we didn't choose mine, we went with another person's solution, and just like that, time was up and we had to leave.
So, the HR people had a poker face during the whole interview, so impossible to tell if I did well or not. The next few hours were the most stressful of my life. I didn't get a call back the same day as PwC promised, so I was sure I failed. I was thinking, what was my mistake? Maybe I didn't talk enough? Maybe I needed to be the leader? Or maybe I should have pushed for my solution. All sorts of thoughts came to my mind. I was ready to move on when
I got a random call the following day from the partner saying I made it. She apologized for not calling me the day before and said she got great feedback from the group case interview and my one-on-one and offered me the job. What a relief I had that day. So every group case interview will be different from company to company. You now know how it happened at PwC. One thing remains true. Group case interviews' primary purpose is to test your teamwork skills. Maybe other firms will assess your presentation skills or others, but how you communicate with teammates, how you handle conflicts, and how you negotiate is key to being a good consultant. If you have a group case interview coming up, good luck. If you want to start the process soon, then you know what's coming. And talking about starting the process, if you want to become a consultant and you don't know where to start, then I do offer coaching services to help you land your next role. You can find a link in the description if you're interested. In the meantime, like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe so that you don't miss any future ones, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.